Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Thursday, July 1st. Hello, my honey. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime doll, which is your cue, Will, to take it over because Will has got to leave us shortly today.
What's the date?
What you got?
It's the 31st.
Is that what I said?
Oh.
What date did you think it was?
No, I had a small stroke while Evan said the date, and I heard July 1st.
Man, that's weird, man. You had problems with your brain. You got problems with your arm. Maybe your arm was feeling weird. For those of you who are totally unaware, now I'm going to eat into my 5 minutes real quick. Yeah. Alex has this weird arm that turns his arm turns into like an alien arm that doesn't feel like his arm.
You're doing a great job.
He can't really sleep.
Sweetie, thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Thanks.
He likes potatoes too, everybody. That was his childhood toy. And I'll think of something else embarrassing by the end of my 5 minutes. I have 5 minutes. The floor is mine. I will share my screen. This sounds like the world's worst filibuster.
But that's what we're here for, Will. Helpful news, commentary, answers to our friends' crypto questions, and occasionally the world's worst filibuster.
Yeah. So I only have 4 minutes or so, 5 minutes. And I just want to quickly share what we're currently seeing on Bitcoin's chart. So let me just do a quick little bit of TA here. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
We can see it, and I'm bringing it to TikTok too, so stand by. There you go.
Lovely. Let me see this on the 1 day. So if you take a look at the 1 day chart here, you can see that we're in this pink channel. Actually, let me clean this chart up a little bit. And let's even zoom in a little bit more to the 4 hour chart, because you can see this channel a little bit more clearly, right? Bitcoin is just coiling and coiling and coiling, has been ever since really, the middle of July, beginning of July or so. But we are coming up very close again to the top of this channel. And when you get close to breaking something bullishly, you want to see a couple things. One of which is you want to see a confident higher low. This is a fairly confident higher low. How do you know that you can tell that? It's because of this wick, this long wick. It's a sign that the bears momentarily really pushed you down, but that the bulls, before the candle closed, got a really good punch back in, right? Really took some ground that they had lost. That's a positive sign moving forward, which is why the next 3 candles afterwards were green, okay? So this is a confident higher low, a higher low from this point here with a big wick. And another thing you want to see when you break, be it a channel, be it any type of consolidation triangle that you're trading in, any kind of shape, right? You want to see that higher low come in above key exponential moving averages. This orange line is the 200 exponential moving average. This purple line is the 200 simple moving average. So we're getting several signs right now on the chart that are potentially pointing to a bullish breakout of this channel, okay? Now, if we also pull up our indicators here, let me go to the daily time frame so it's more meaningful. I'll draw your attention to this one here in the middle. This is the daily stochastic RSI. It is in oversold territory on the spot chart, which is what we're looking at. It's also in oversold territory on the futures chart, which I actually do have prepared here. Who'd have thunk? But I don't have the stochastic RSI up, so let's just put it. It is also in oversold territory. So when the futures chart and the spot chart both line up as oversold on stochastic RSI, that's a pretty good sign also that you're at a low point, that it's a good time to at least start to dollar cost average. It's not a guarantee that you can't fall further. We can still fall further, but this is the second sign that we're seeing that, hey, Bitcoin might be looking to blast to the upside, because this is a lot of coiling. The next move we get should be a fairly good sized move to the upside or downside. And we're seeing 2 reasons as to why Bitcoin should go upwards. One reason why Bitcoin should go downwards, though, is that on the futures chart, we still have this gap right here. This gap here, $114,380. Now, again, you don't have to fill a gap. There's no particular reason why you have to fill it. It's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, really. And there's only ever been 2 gaps on Bitcoin's chart that have never been filled. This one all the way down here at $92,000. And also, where is it?
Dang, hunting for a gap in a haystack.
No, that's a gap on the 4-hour chart. It's at like $21,000. I don't think I have it on this chart. I have several other charts, okay? And the other thing I'll pull up is I don't have it on my chart. So quickly watch out as I blind all of you.
No, light mode. For people in podcast land, we're following along on TradingView. This is another great episode to pull up YouTube so you can see what Will is doing on his screen. And we're going to CoinGlass now.
Going to CoinGlass.
Data.
Yeah, going to get some on-chain data. We're going to take a look at where all of the liquidation levels are for leveraged positions on the most popular leveraged centralized exchange solution on the market, which is Binance.
Hey.
Yeah, you always want to pay attention to the largest ones, not just like everything across the board. Like there's a whole bunch of future markets for stocks and Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff, but you should only pay attention to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the CME for them, because it's the biggest in the world. So this is a liquidation heat map of leveraged positions. You can measure that on-chain easily. The biggest one is Binance. And what we see here is this really bright spot that has now really gotten pretty hot over just the past like 4 or 5 days. And that is a signal to us that whales and centralized exchanges have a financial incentive to drive the market higher because those hot points, those yellow points, are where they make the most money because that's where leveraged positions get liquidated. So that is the third data point that we have, that there are 3 reasons right now that I'm seeing for Bitcoin to break out of its coiling to the upside. So in this sense, you could say, just by looking at this chart, the market is financially incentivized because market makers and whales have the money and the incentive and the ability to execute to drive the market in directions that they want. And they make the most amount of money by liquidating short positions, by driving the price upwards to really about $121,000. And that is a key level of resistance for us, because if we come back to the Bitcoin chart, and this is the last thing I'll do, the previous high is at $121,000. So if we can go up, grab that liquidity, and then turn 121K into support, that could be the trampoline we need to break past the current all-time high. The issue though is you want to make sure we don't have a double top at 123K. But right now, at least in the short term, it looks like Bitcoin is trying to gear up for a move to the upside more so than a move to the downside. Nothing is a guarantee yet. Keep your eyes on the chart. Everything can change, but that is the current setup that we are seeing at this moment.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, your friend, Will Watson.
And then the only other thing I'll add too is, dollar cost average is typically your best friend. Things can change on a dime. New bit of market news can come out, can change the chart. But right now the chart is looking pretty positive, particularly with people coming in and buying up Jerome Powell's speech, and it being a shakeout event. So
beautiful.
Things are looking pretty okay.
Thank you for making the complex clear. Have a good meeting, and we will catch you in the chat.
Thank you. See you guys.
See you, dude.
If you love Will's technical analysis and you want some more of that, then the place you need to go is twofold. Number one, you should check out Market Watch, the Rise Up Market Watch to be more specific, every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Will and Doug, aka Von and Dolphin Boy, the Blue Banana, they go live to share all things macro, to make sense of the markets that move the world, including your crypto. It's a great place to get an update on gold, on silver, of course, Bitcoin, but maybe even beef, tariffs, you name it. If it can be charted or it's going to influence the buying and selling behavior of people, they will talk about it, and they always follow each other into a fascinating sort of rabbit hole. They answer your questions, and I learn something every time I listen. So that's number one. And number two is Will has got a great course. It's totally self-paced. It's a recording that you can get at theriseupmorningshow.com. If you go to the website and navigate to the courses tab, it's right there. It's called Intro to Technical Analysis. Will breaks down what technical analysis is, this sort of art and craft of divining information from a chart. He goes through a couple of the techniques that he uses. You heard him mention stochastic RSI. You heard him talk about the 4-hour chart, the 1-hour chart. You heard him talk about gaps on the chart. Lots of different indicators that people like Will, who are absolute nerds and love this stuff, use every day. Honestly, even someone like me who's a nerd in a different direction, I learn from it too. And Robots Declarer says, can I pay with crypto? That is coming soon. In the Circle community, when we've got the course there for purchase also, we have it on good authority, a way for you to buy with crypto. But also, like, if you want to buy with crypto right now, send us a message. We'll make it work for you. I wish more stuff integrated with our world so that we could do it, but integration's coming soon.
As with always, soon.
Soon.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. And
Maybe.
Speaking of soon, we'll be in Circle next week. We'll have the announcement for you on Monday. Expect something really fun then. We're going to get lots of folks in there so you can test it out and break it. Shout out to the mods who are here already. But it's a great community where you can ask your crypto questions even when we're off the air. Witty Mogul says, where does the Rise Up Morning Show happen? All of our shows happen wherever you are listening right now. We're on TikTok. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, your favorite podcast platform. And not only are we live Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central for After Dark, Mondays at 7 p.m. Central for Market Watch, but you can find the recordings of all our past episodes. I recommend you check them out on your favorite podcasting platform because that would help the show. Leaving us a review would be an awesome free thing you could do. And YouTube, if you want to see the screen share, has got playlists too, organized for easy listening and viewing pleasure. Live in Technicolor. Okay, Alex. I hear you got a rodeo going on over there. It's not as bad as you think it is. But for people who are watching on YouTube, they see you coming in, coming out. Like doing the hokey pokey over there and with Jerome Powell's look on your face.
Yeah. Dogs.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Anyway, I'm hoping that was the end.
We got a good question here from Vanna, who says, Hi, Vanna. I have BTC on Cash App. Can I move that to cold storage? And what cold storage do you recommend? This is a great question. And even if you don't hold crypto on Cash App specifically, like Vanna, the answer will apply to you. Alex, do you happen to know off the top of your head the answer to this question about Cash App? The limits?
Just looking, because I don't know.
So Cash App is one of, here's what I know, and then I'm going to hand it to you. Cash App is one of the best payment apps you can use to buy crypto. If you, by which I mean like Venmo, PayPal, those kind of apps now let you buy crypto. But I have a little bit of limited experience helping someone buy on Cash App because of all those apps that they already had. It seemed like the one that had the most flexible terms and conditions to allow transfers out. So what are the specifics, Alex?
Yeah, so it looks like you can withdraw Bitcoin to a third-party wallet from Cash App if you just toggle from USD to Bitcoin, right there on the app. So yes, apparently, in which case the withdrawal would be the same as it would be anywhere. So this basic set of steps applies to anything that has your crypto on it where you can withdraw. I don't know off the top of my head if there are any that still don't. Although I will say that PayPal sucks. No, like,
say it louder for the people in back.
These pests.
PayPal sucks.
You're a loser.
I have tried. I forget exactly what led to this. I think you know what it was. I used to take all of the little payments that TikTok sends you.
Yeah,
which is not a ton,
payments.
and just convert them to ETH.
Nice.
In PayPal because it was one of the options. And I was like, why not? There's a perfect set of, money I'm never going to miss. And it's like, less than $100 a month kind of thing. But then sat there trying to withdraw over and over and over and over and over again. Never worked. Allegedly, you're supposed to be able to, but it always failed. It just continually, over months is just like, fail. So I had to, and I eventually just had to sell it and get it away. So I would say that PayPal is probably the one that I have personal experience on. Shane says, I'm always so unclear in my opinions. I did leave some of my thoughts about PayPal up to the imagination.
Correct.
But no, as with all of those things wherein you can withdraw, all you need is the address, the public wallet address to the place you are withdrawing to. In this case, would be your cold storage wallet of choice. There are several good options. I personally use a Tracer Model T. I've had the same one for a very long time. It was my first cold storage wallet. So what was that, 17?
Probably about that time.
No, not that one. Sorry, I lied.
Wow.
2020 is when I actually finally bought it because I was just holding for the first full entire cycle I was holding. I'm sorry, I've learned on Robinhood. Arculus, good option. Ledger, a lot of good options. Those are the only ones that I have specific experience with. I've heard a lot of good things about Tangem, although I've never used it.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
Anyone else? Have you ever used a different one?
I have never used Elipal, that I would
No.
say is reputable. SafePal, also reputable. I've never used BitKey. I understand they have an inheritance solution, although they're oriented specifically towards Bitcoin. And Lattice, I've never used. I'm pretty sure that's one that Dr. Adam Lowe, who's the co-founder of Arculus, came on the show on episode 323. In the second half of the show, he talks about what makes Arculus secure and his criteria for what makes any cold wallet secure. And we even asked him to give his top 5. If you couldn't pick Arculus, what would you pick? And I know he had Ledger, I know he had Trezor in there, but he had a couple I had not heard of or had not used, I mean. So check that out if you want like a real pro's opinion. But any reputable cold storage wallet that supports the networks and tokens you want to use, you can find this on their website, and that you find easy to use consistently well. Just go to YouTube, look up tutorials after you do a Google search for crypto cold storage wallets. And then go to their websites when you find one that looks easy and say, does this wallet support HBAR? Does this wallet support ETH? That kind of thing. And it's going to help you out. So, good question. Final thoughts on wallets?
No, I would just say, actually, I can tie it in. There was a question. What would you recommend someone do with $10? Genuinely, I would tell you that $10 is the perfect amount to do the first thing with, which would be to just get $10 worth of USDC and become comfortable with this exact process, sending it from one place to another.
Yep, I agree completely. I want to answer actually 2 more questions. Lee says, are they safe? And Solemn says, I wish there was a universal wallet. Wallets are safe. They are the safest way to securely directly own your crypto, because all a wallet is any device you use to recall, and when the time comes, to verify to a computer that maintains the blockchain ledgers you use, that you are who you purport to be, that you have permission to send or receive assets, because your crypto assets don't physically exist. They are assigned in a ledger that many computers maintain to a private key, just a string of numbers and letters. That's it. You can therefore use your brain as a wallet. You can use a piece of paper as a wallet. The thing about these wallet devices is that they make it easy for you to not need to know any cryptography, not need to know any math in order to generate a private key. If you wanted to do it like totally manually offline, it would take a lot of math. You'd have to generate like 256 totally random numbers. Most people don't want to do that. If you get a device like Arculus, then you can largely trust, or if you don't trust, verify that their technology generates your private key securely offline and stores it securely the same way Visa stores information on your card and can never expose it. Even if a bad guy got my Arculus or my Visa card, my Visa card's different because the number's written right on it. Duh. But Arculus, nobody knows anything about me. I could hand this to a bad guy, and even if they broke inside, they wouldn't be able to unencrypt, or it would be extremely difficult for them to unencrypt my private key, and most likely the tampering would destroy it. And what the wallet does is it creates an interface that makes it easier for you to interact with those computers, because you probably don't personally have a node for the Ethereum network or the Bitcoin network or the XRP ledger or every network you interact with where your tokens live. Again, they don't physically exist. They don't sit in your wallet. It's that blockchain networks are computers all over the world running the same copy of a ledger, like a checkbook we all share. And some of them, you don't even know where they are. It's not like a bank where you just walk in and say, hi, Mr. Node operator, I'd like to submit a transaction. You have to connect to them via the internet or some other means. And your wallet makes it possible, whether you use a hot wallet in an app online or a cold storage wallet here with its own app, and you like tap to verify or something, that makes it possible to create a secure connection with a node operator so that you can submit a transaction and present proof. Here's my private key. I am who I purport to be. Those Bitcoin assigned to 0x123, those are mine, without needing to reveal any personal information about yourself like you do when you go send a bank transfer. It's very secure. Solemn asks, will there ever be a universal wallet? And that's why, Alex, there'll never be a universal wallet, is because all of those networks, they're different. They're different pieces of computer code. It's like making a sewer system and a highway the same. And because blockchain is kind of an open source movement and it's an emerging movement, people are creating new blockchain networks all the time. And Solemn's question is a good one. I don't know how many times you hear this, Alex, because I hear it a lot. Why can't there just be one wallet for everything? And the answer is because if I'm Arculus, I got a limited budget, man. I got a team of engineers, and it's our job to make sure we support the blockchain networks you want to use. But if somebody creates a new blockchain, a new network with different protocols, different computer code, I got to make sure I know how to generate a private key for that network. And I got to make sure that my engineers do it correctly. So I got to spend money hiring the people who take the time to build the bridge of code to that network so now my wallet users can use it. Well, what if that network doesn't generate any activity? What if it goes under? Then I've just wasted all that money. And then there's 10 other new blockchain networks, and I've only got 24 hours in a day to direct these people to do that work. So there will never be any one wallet that supports every single blockchain network or token. It would be unfeasible. The way it would be unfeasible for one television channel to support every sports broadcast happening around the earth live simultaneously. It's just not possible. As a result, I recommend you get comfortable using wallets, baby. And find the ones that support the networks and tokens you want to use, because a lot of them support many networks. Is that helpful? I hope it's helpful. What are you seeing in the comments, Alex? I know they're flying, and I'm sorry I didn't mean to take that long on that explanation.
No, it worked out. Nice. There was a lot. There's a couple comments about web wallets being unsafe, to which I replied, they're as safe as you make them, to which the follow-up question was, what does that mean?
Oh,
so they are safe. Again, I don't know of any off the top of my head that I would call specifically unsafe. Can you think of any that have failed? Has there?
No, there has never been a major breach of a wallet company's security such that private keys were exposed. They're all built in such a way that your private key is pretty much generated like in a local container. Even if it's not a hardware wallet, like even at MetaMask, they do a lot so that that company never really gets your key. I can think of one exception where there was a, now I'm forgetting who it was. It wasn't Ledger, but their name comes up all the time. Maybe it was Ledger. They had like a feature that generated, it was a backup feature. A lot of these wallets have backup features where you can like choose to encrypt your key, split it into pieces and send it to somebody. And the emails with those encrypted pieces, or maybe some personal information not related to private keys, was leaked. Coinbase had a breach like that where their customer service gave up personal information, not private keys. I don't know. No private key leaks. Just speak up.
I mean, what that means is they're as safe as you make them, meaning that if you have bad internet OPSEC, then anything is breachable. Nothing that has ever been put on the internet or has ever touched the internet or has ever been built is completely impenetrable.
Right.
And it all depends on, I mean, you could build the craziest vault ever that has the most ridiculous layers of security with round the clock armed guards that have been surgically modified to never require sleep. And one day that dude forgets to show up and you leave the door open. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Right. So you could have the safest web wallet ever with the most crazy security, and you could leave your seed phrase on a sticky note on your desk, and someone could just get into it. They are as safe as you make them. If you do not practice good internet safety, if you connect it to sketchy things without doing any follow-up research, if you respond to any DMs that you get and send someone the seed phrase because you think they're customer service asking you for it or something, then for sure, even the coldest of cold wallets can be very easily breached if you have bad practices. So that's what that means. I just found out the actual thing that was being asked about. The only thing impenetrable is my DMs. The actual what does that mean question was in response to me saying that I was underwhelmed by Cardano. Are you also underwhelmed by Cardano? Because
Yep.
Correct.
Why?
Tell me why. Because despite having a charismatic and mysterious founder, despite having ambitious plans and, a fast, cheap, secure network, they have struggled to generate any significant degree of what I would call adoption. And I honestly think, this is me speculating, they're one of those crypto companies that made a lot of money at one point in time. And it's very tempting when you're somebody with an ego around being a genius, with a math PhD and a Falcon and live streams that capture an audience of 4,000 people because Vitalik got it, whatever Charles wants to say today. It's very tempting to just, and that's it. While talking about banking the unbanked, not to say they aren't doing that. They're doing plenty of stuff, but it doesn't revolve around building apps that people want to use as much as they want to use stable coins or
Banking the unbanked is a really great marketing slogan.
Yeah.
Lots of crypto institutions, entities, companies, foundations, labs, organizations have used to sell things to the same 25 people on Twitter since the beginning of the industry. It means nothing.
They won't do it.
Sure.
But it will take them a long time. And if you're investing to generate a return, Charles is going to say, we're working on it, we're working on it, we're working on it. If 20 years from now he's worked on it and you miss investing in ETH, Bitcoin, all these other things that your money could have been buying along the way that generated you a faster or better return, that's my point. They could do it.
Yeah.
They could
No, I was specifically talking about like maybe they'll bank the unbanked. No, they're not. Point to literally, I mean, who besides Lindsay is out there like in the world doing
in a developing nation,
boots on the ground,
onboarding people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's the part that, like, listen, you don't have to build for that. But if that's your bumper sticker and you're making zero effort or completely silent effort and no one knows about it, yikes.
I think that, they, Stellar, are good examples of companies whose U.S. market is very divorced from the work they're actively doing in the world. A lot of people here
for sure.
in not just the U.S. I know we have people who watch all over the world, but a lot of the narratives about crypto come from content creators in the United States. And so people are really focused on token price. They're focused on utility. And they see banking the unbanked or building telecommunications infrastructure in Africa, and they're like, damn, that's a huge market. We're going to unlock a lot of money. But really, what the Stellar Development Foundation is doing is less oriented around, and Cardano too, is probably less oriented around making the token explode in value and more oriented in, sustaining their work, solving a problem that may take a long time. They've got a lot of money. They don't need your token sales to pump their bags. So they
like them.
They like them.
Keep people just interested enough to keep trading it. And the sad thing is that you used to hear about effort. So maybe it's completely stopped, or maybe they just quit telling anyone about anything that they were doing, because there was the whole tokenized transcripts in Central Africa effort. That was last bull run. Haven't heard a single nary a whisper since. And I mean, I don't know. Some the follow up was. What about its potential to reach its all-time high this bull run? It's very possible. My point whenever I say that I'm underwhelmed is that would I be surprised? Yeah. But also, it's crypto and speculation drives this. And right now, the group of people who's paying enough attention to make a move like in and out of something like Cardano based on a single event is very small, meaning that the potential for a significant price move on any cryptocurrency is high if the conditions are met, but also, it wouldn't be weird if it didn't. And that was like a weird cryptic way of saying, obviously we don't know what's going to happen with markets. It wouldn't be surprising if one just arbitrarily kind of pumps out of nowhere. Charles has gone from doing what he used to do, which was be extremely public facing with the people, running his multi-hour live streams, answering questions, just kind of vibing with people and talking about whatever they're doing, to trying to position Cardano as like one of these American companies with very close proximity to the White House, who's going to be included in some sort of whatever mature blockchain list and get special clearance from the SEC to do this, do that, whatever. Meanwhile, again, also like with all of them, literally every single entity in crypto making almost no effort or negligible effort to expand the user base beyond the dedicated diehards that are there right now, or the speculators on Twitter willing to take a gamble on something. So that's my big problem. My big problem is like if you go on Twitter right now and you search crypto marketing and just try to like pull up all of the tweets that come up that talk about that as a subject, it's mostly people wondering why it's so hard while they scream it into a paper bag on Twitter and refuse to talk to anybody. And Cardano is 100% in that category.
If you need it, you will find me. I don't need to advertise, like Bearded said.
Yeah, which is a dumbass attitude.
It's kind of rough. And I see the comment, I still hold a small bag just in case. I hear this a lot from people, and there's nothing wrong with this, but I think if your goal is, to make money, and especially if you're not a rich person, and even if you are a rich person, the way people who trade dollars for more dollars is by being really precious about all their dollars. You can make a contrarian bet, but like, what informs your conviction is what I would ask you then. If you're just buying something because you're like, oh man, everyone's talking about this particular crypto, well, they're talking about this one too. I should get $1,000 of that. Wait, well, let me get $1,000 of that. Let me get $1,000 of that. You're not diversifying. You're just kind of diluting your gambling.
Yeah. That's a good way to say diluting your gambling. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like every dollar I might spend on Cardano or on ICP is a dollar that I have to justify not spending on Bitcoin. And for me, that's a high bar. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, but kind of like Dennis said yesterday, I just don't have the conviction in nothing else is like so thoroughly proven, and nothing else in my mind. If you took a trip into my mind, you would go, oh, Evan is not just like blustering. Evan really believes that in a world measuring value in dollars, Bitcoin is always going to go up in price, that it's designed to. And I would say, yeah, you're right. That's what I believe. I believe it. Like I'm not convincing myself. I'm not borrowing conviction. I believe it. That is the way it appears to me. The fabric of reality around Bitcoin, around dollars, is designed. Like that's the mechanism. Water cups are designed to hold water. Bitcoin is designed to go up in value as long as we're measuring value in dollars that anybody anywhere can print. Any elected official can print pretty much any time. I don't feel that way about Cardano. I just don't. Can we go back a little bit and answer a question from Solemn?
Mm-hmm. Oh, from Solemn? No.
Yeah. And also, I got to say, I know it's Solemn Global because it's soul like sun, but ever since I have seen Solemn in the chat, I don't know what it is about Solemn and Spartan next to each other. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, J-Man. I want to talk about creator coins.
Oh.
He said, have you guys seen the new concept of creator coins on the Base app? I think that would be a great way for creators like you to get paid. And I got to say, I think tokens can do a lot of stuff. And I know, Alex, you share this too. But if you haven't seen it lately, the Base app for some time, it's a new app, but behind the Base app is the Base team. And employee number one over there at Base, Mr. Jesse Pollock, has a lot of conviction, like I have in Bitcoin, around this idea of creator coins. And not just creator coins, but a specific type of creator coin that has been propagated on an app incubated by Base called Zora. And here, if you're unfamiliar with this, is how it works. This is not like a crypto token that you need to be a dev to program, that you can program to do anything you want. It's a very specific, particular model. And this is what it looks like. When you activate your creator coin on Zora, it kind of functions like a layer 1 coin for you, Evan coin. In fact, I activated one just to test the mechanisms of it myself. Don't go buy it. You could collect it if you want to, but I don't think it's the right model personally, and here's why. When you create a creator coin, 1 billion tokens, Evan Man tokens, are created. 50% of them are sent to me, and they're on what's called a vesting schedule, which means that over a predetermined period of time, they will be slowly released to me. That period of time is 5 years. In 5 years, my 50% of the supply will be totally in my hands, okay? And over time, anybody anywhere can come to my Zora profile and they can buy my token. Also, over time, when I post on Zora, only on Zora, mind you, my post becomes a token. When you buy that token, I don't know the mechanism by which, market cap also accrues to my creator token. So each post gets its own token. Every post that maybe goes viral could potentially be like a meme coin that skyrockets. It's an opportunity, Jesse says, to speculate on the virality of a single piece of content. And all the speculation, every buy and sell, generates trading fees that I get. So on one hand, I like that when people buy and sell a token produced by a creator, whether or not they sell it, whether or not the price goes up or down, just the fact that they're collecting it at all creates a stable income source that this person can sell, that they can, earn without having to like dump their tokens on retailers like so many meme coin launchers have done. Mm-hmm. I don't like that over time, the incentive is about speculation, that in order to participate, you've got to buy. I wish, and this could be very easily done by a team as capable as Base. What if instead, and Alex, I want your pushback on this because we've talked about this a lot off the air lately. I've been telling Alex, I think creator coins could be a really good thing. I'm not convinced that this is it. What if instead of having to buy it, people like you, Solom, who watch the show every single day, who support our posts, who favorite them, who share them, what if you could earn the token for doing those things? Like, you should earn it. Yep. I should be able to airdrop it at the start and be like, okay, here's my list of everyone who's ever gotten a Rise Up POAP. Here's everybody who's ever held a Faceless Many NFT. Here's all our friends in the comments. And I'm going to give each of them an amount of tokens. Alex, what do you think about this? You know what I mean? Like, that should be how a creator coin is going to be run. People should have a mechanism by which they earn it, because if all they can do is buy it to participate, it shifts the incentive towards speculation. If, Bad Bunny releases a token, people are going to buy it because he's a celebrity, to speculate on the fame of his image. People will buy it because they like him, but they're going to get burned by the people who have an opportunity to drive the price up and sell it to make a profit. I think there's a way to do this that doesn't just look like that. And I also think it looks like giving creators more tokens, giving creators more tools to create collectible tokens that they can issue just to people who want to like their post totally for free, or to people who hold 10 of their posts. Or what if there was a mechanic to change the rarity so that every time I posted, you could click a button to collect it. You could click another button to support me if you wanted to pay me something. And you got a token in return that was non-fungible, provably unique in a way that changed its value, and could share that value with you. What if every 10th token came with a little picture of me? Haha. It's like a little digital collectible. Or what if token 100 would win a free premium membership for a year to the Rise Up Morning Show Circle community? You know what I mean? Like, all of those things are possible because tokens are an infinitely programmable medium. But here we have a major crypto leader from a major crypto company who is pushing one model of what tokens could look like that is largely extractive at the cost of the people who just want to support creators they love. That's my problem with it. That's why I have done it, but we don't talk about it, and why I'm never going to try and sell it to you unless and until that mechanism improves. So, Alex, when we talked about this last off the air, I was trying to wrap my head around what that token could look like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with me that Zora could probably program a token more in alignment with the kind of thing we would like? You got to imagine pretty easily. And would you be okay with a token like that, or a token generator like that tied to a content creation app that allowed a creator like me? The other thing I've thought about is just use ETH. Because that's what we always say too, is like, why wouldn't you just use a token that already exists? But I do kind of like this idea of being able to create your own token to tie it to a specific audience and purpose.
Uh-huh.
I just think there's so much room for flexibility and programmability, and that this is not it.
Couple things. First, quickly, Tatiana's here.
Oh, our friend.
And I love and miss you very much.
Me too.
This is just, we're talking about Zora.
We're talking about Zora. We're talking about Jesse Pollock and Coin It creator coins, because Solon asked, why would you do that? You should do that. And I'm telling him why not.
Yeah. So in theory, it's cool. As with lots of things in crypto, theoretically, it's cool. There's a problem, though, that I cannot get over at this point, which is that we have not laid a single brick in the foundation of allowing anything tokenized to simply be either an innocent collectible or a purchase for the sake of buying something. Everything gets framed as a potential way to make you a millionaire overnight. That is the underpinning of every product in this industry. The way that, because we refuse to do like long-term brand building through sustained awareness and just trust building, the way that every company on earth that's not in the Web3 industry markets literally everything that has ever been successful. I'm not making this up. Like, this is just like kind of standard practice in advertising and marketing. But for some reason, crypto just hasn't gotten with the program yet. Because that's the attitude, creator coins are doomed until that is fixed, in my opinion. Because you only attract a couple things. One, someone like Evan would make a token. No one gives a shit what Evan's goal is with that token. It's only going to be looked at a couple of ways. One, the person who doesn't care about him, who recognizes he's had a number of posts go very viral, he has this many followers, he's very consistent. I'm going to gamble. Let's see if I can flip this for whatever.
Yep.
Knowing that he probably has enough diehard fans to pay into a machine, or a mechanism rather, that they will get stuck in because they don't want to betray Evan.
That's right.
By selling. They want to demonstrate their loyalty by holding and collecting this thing. And the only way for them to do that is to purchase it, which sucks. Like Evan said, there's no real mechanism to earn through doing the thing that made it valuable in the first place.
Like the expression of our relationship.
Yeah, it shifts the entire thing to a transactory relationship, which is a problem. That's how you kill it. If that is then how the creator makes money, by people buying and selling, now what I have to constantly talk to you about as a creator is selling you things. And no one likes to be sold things. Unless you like are actively hunting for the thing, it's very off-putting to be sold something, right? I mean, the second I realize something is an ad, I'm out of there. I don't, but if someone, like puts genuine effort into putting a piece of content together and some sort of product is featured and I enjoy the video, then yeah, I'll hang out. I'll watch something, see what I can learn, like all that sort of stuff. I don't like this model because no one can just buy things in crypto. It has to be an investment. And what ends up happening is the diehard, loyal fans who want to be supportive just get fleeced over and over and over again by constantly having to put money in to purchase this thing, really not getting anything specific in return because they're not selling it. And that would be their only way to get a return on it, would be to sell it, which is just sort of a problem. The example is always, don't you wish you could have invested in, I don't know, MKBHD when he first posted a tech video, and now look at him. Yeah, of course, but that's a stupid example because it's, that's not how it works. And that's not the mechanism that's being sold through a creator coin. It's, I don't know. I don't like the model. I'm not interested. They're used constantly to scam people. It's very extractive. I'm not a fan. I think theoretically it could be cool, is like my thing, but we are not primed with the proper mindset to accept something like that. I hope that in the future but this is one of the reasons I'm constantly saying it's okay to just buy something, because you want it, not because you feel like it has to pay you back.
But this is also why we have to get it right, because right now Zora is mostly like it's not a dead app, it's a niche app. Nobody uses it. But if a creator like Mr. Beast used it and people started to come onto Zora and they launched this feature, and somebody like, I don't know, Casey Neistat, Mr. Beast, whatever, blew up and created a token that was valuable, the way Bonk has become like a meme coin institution, then maybe more people would start to use it. And I am not ready for them to use a token like this because of every problem we've outlined here. We have the opportunity right now. Tori's highlighted some people who are doing this on Farcast or in their ecosystem, trying to figure out the mechanism by which, because this is a promise of Web3, is that creators and the people who support them should be able to share value, and it shouldn't all be captured by platforms like TikTok. Shout out to our friends at Neptune who are launching today. Platforms like that want to solve this problem. Zora wants to solve this problem. Farcaster wants to solve this problem. Yep. But a pump and dump token, that's not the right solution.
Listen, you might want to solve it, but if you're not able to also change the conversation and not market and advertise it the same way that everything else in crypto is marketed and advertised, which is basically like silent product announcement.
Right.
Why haven't you bought the thing? Quiet. The relationship you're setting up with everybody is like, I'm only going to speak to you when I have something to sell you, and there is no other reason to pay attention to me. And the thing I'm going to sell you has the implication of free money, and that's the only reason anyone's paying attention. And because we refuse to talk to new people about this, like go out into the real world and have this conversation about creator coins with somebody. Like if you want, honestly, another reason I would say that I have no faith in this as it stands. Let's go back in time to the metaverse.
Okay.
Let's go back to the last bull run in the metaverse.
Wait, if we're gonna really go back, then I need to give you a. It's 2022. You're in Miami, and somebody in a tie-dye shirt has just tried to sell you a physical Bitcoin. Go ahead.
That same person is also a metaverse realtor, and they're pitching you on the idea of having proximity to Snoop Dogg in adult Roblox. And it's only going to cost you $10,000 to buy this virtual plot of land, and it's going to be great because you could put a virtual billboard there, and advertising's going to be huge. Okay. We are in the appropriate headspace now to think about this. Obviously, if we were to then, from our point in 2022, look forward and see where the metaverse is now, not a single one of us would buy any of that bullshit. But many did. And I have been whining about this since that point. The reason I had no faith in the metaverse at that point was because Spatial existed.
Yeah.
And for anyone who doesn't know, Spatial started as a virtual meeting room application, which realized that there was a lot of interest and demand in this whole NFT thing, and basically pivoted into crypto. And they got a $50 million runway from Samsung. Evan and I were at their launch party at the Samsung headquarters, or one of the Samsung headquarters in New York City. It was an awesome event.
Yeah.
This entire metaverse was free. You did not have to pay anything to use it. You didn't have to buy any land. You could go and you could build anything you wanted. We built all sorts of rooms and galleries and puzzles, like interactive
experiences, really.
Yeah, interact. We were building like games that you could go into and like puzzles that you would solve by picking up pieces and rotating them and putting them together and then having to look at them from a certain angle. Like, it was really cool. It was 100% free. Nobody used it. No one. They have completely re-racked and pivoted because no one went in there. Nobody used it. It was like pulling teeth to get someone in there. And when I realized how hard it was to get crypto native people to use a free, crypto friendly metaverse, I was like, dude, this thing is fucking doomed. Because why would I pay $20,000 for a plot of land somewhere in Decentraland if I can't even get someone to come in for free to like earn something in this free thing? And now, fast forward to this creator coin idea, I have no faith in it because guess what? The perfect model for collectible creator-based tokens that show your support and your loyalty that could totally be sold for a bunch of money if that person blew up and there was real demand to buy that thing, it exists, and it's existed for years, and it's completely free, and you can use just an email address to make an account there, and it's called POAP. And we've made dozens of these things, and we've been giving them away to people for years. We've probably done about 100 total, maybe a little bit less. And guess what? Guess what the market is for like aftermarket POAP sales? Negligible, if it even exists at all. So there's my proof. This exists. POAP exists. It's incredible. It's such a cool product. It's one of my favorite products in the entire industry. It's completely free.
And it's easy too. It's free and it's easy. All you got to do is, you don't even need to connect a wallet. Here is, in fact, a list of all the different drops we've done. The last one we did was for episode 300 of the morning show. We've got the morning show mug POAP. On this wallet, I have 19, but we've issued a lot.
Go into that 300th episode POAP. How many times did it actually get claimed?
Let's see.
How many instances?
We got 17 people who got the token, and then we got 13 people who used an email to claim their token reservation. So we dropped 30 POAPs.
Yep. And that was one of the most widely claimed
POAP drop
that we ever did.
Yeah.
So that was the 300th episode of a show that's been on for years. Thousands of people were at the 300th episode. Yeah, that was about as easy as an onboard as possible, and it was completely free. And like 24 went out. Has anyone tried to list a single one or sell a single one? This is a very niche example, but my point is that if that's the case, why the hell would a harder to access token several layers deeper that requires a wallet and all this other stuff to even get, that you have to pay for, why would that be any different? I just don't see it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And shout out to Dave in the chat. Dybert is here, and he probably has, maybe Tori has more, but I think he might have more POAPs from Rise Up, Faceless Labs than anybody. Very cool. And POAP, I'm telling you, it's a Google form. It's so easy. You put in some information about the drop. You can upload a piece of artwork. You can use it as sort of a crypto forward business card. You can distribute it with a QR code on your phone. Somebody like, I'm thinking Joe would be a great user of POAP because, she's always talking about how people can learn about crypto in real life. And she could be like, oh yeah, here's my crypto business card, or what, I don't know, whatever. Here's my collectible. And somebody scans it goes right to their email. They don't even need a crypto wallet. And when they open that email, it's going to have instructions for, hey, you claimed a POAP. If you want to collect this in a crypto wallet, I don't remember the language they use, but it's very friendly. It's not jargony. And they will walk you through the steps to actually get an on-chain collectible, or just keep the proof of it in your email forever. It's so great.
Yeah. So I have no faith in creator coins at this point. Nothing has ever happened in this industry that would make me think that this is going to work. And because of that, I'm not interested. Because the only thing I've ever seen happen with them is extraction from the very specific people in your audience who made you even have the platform upon which you could launch a creator token in the first place. And anyone on TikTok has seen TikTokers shilling their own meme coins. This is that. It's the same idea. And I could not be less interested in it. Some pretty major shit needs to shift. And NFTs are a way better tool for that anyway. You can collect creator royalties off of those. They're easier to collect. You have something to display. It's easier to look like everything about it is different or is better rather. And we're still at the point now where even if they're completely free, it's like pulling teeth to get even the most native people to do something.
Dude, I that story I told about Miami is based on a true story. When I was there in 2022 for an NFT Miami conference, there was in Wynwood, I said to Alex and Mac and all the guys at Faceless Labs, I think on a call we were having at that time, I said, if the metaverse was a person, it would be like one of these guys walking around Wynwood. There was, I kid you not, I was sitting at a coffee shop outside, beautiful Miami weather, and this truck drove by. It was like an all-day truck. I saw it several times that weekend with a billboard on the side of it. Just its job was to drive around and advertise. And it had a video panel on the side advertising, I don't know what metaverse, but it was like, buy land, get a house next to French Montana. I was like, who is French Montana? Apparently he's like, like a B-level Snoop Dogg, I guess. And that was like the whole commercial was like a bunch of little avatars just going like this, like dancing around French Montana's house. And Kim never lets me live it down. I think even someone who loves us and observes us that closely still thinks that we were maybe a little obsessed about the wrong thing when we were building those, I will admit, very cool experiences in spatial.
Yeah, for sure.
Ahead of our time, Kimberly.
Yep.
We had a really good question here. Somebody said, I need help, which is not in itself a question, but if you're somebody who needs help with crypto, listen, we need more help than you are probably medically qualified to give. But if you have a crypto question, we've got a lot of resources for you. You can start by heading to the riseupmorningshow.com, checking out all of our content. We've got links to every social channel that we post on, and you need to get the links there because there are lots of impersonators. If you follow us on social media, wherever you're listening, you will find somebody who looks like us, adds you as a friend or leaves a comment to say, hey, how's your investing going? And attempts to draw you into a closer relationship, but that's not us. We will never, ever message you. You have got to message us, and we've got a lot of places you can do it. The best one is the Rise Up Discord server, which after today really truly will become the Rise Up Circle community. So come back to the show next week. We're going to announce the launch of Circle, and that is the forever home where the show lives 24/7. You can find all your best friends from the crypto space around the world there. And it's the best place to ask a question, to share what you know, to buy a course, to sign up for coaching, to register for a premium membership so that you can meet the most dedicated, engaged members of the community. You can get discounts to all the other services and a bunch of other perks too, like a free morning show mug and so much more. I often say the only thing missing is you. Joe says it's like family coming home. Exactly. That's a great way to say it. I am so excited to get everybody in there. And if you've got a particular crypto question, before we ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset, you got a couple more minutes, so let us know what you're thinking. Alex, what do you see in the chat?
All right,
how are folks feeling about it?
Few good comments. XC Racer has the 300th.
Hey,
Dybert is definitely winning, according to Tori.
Love it. I'm so.
He has more. I've looked. Kirk says, I was such a land baron in the metaverse.
I also saw Tori say she wanted to get a POAP that says, you've met a wild Tori. Tori, you should. If you if you just don't have the time to do it, I'm a POAP whiz. I would be glad to make you a POAP for that and give you however many mint links you want.
Chris1234 says, sorry if I'm dense. Spoiler alert, you're not. Why does crypto have value? And I think that's
great question.
Yeah, that's a good one. My quick take on that would be, it doesn't if you don't believe that it does. because as with all things that are either like representative or currency or collectible or transactory, like they have the value that you believe they have. And if enough people believe that something is valuable, it becomes more and more and more valuable. A good example of that would be the actual dollar. I don't have a dollar bill, but you had one. You can't actually do anything with that. It's not actually useful. If you really look at just that piece of paper with specific stuff on it, like it by itself is not going to do anything. If the person you're trying to hand it to doesn't use it, okay, sure, yeah, whatever. You can roll it up. You can whatever. You know what I mean? The point is,
drink my coffee with it.
That thing is valuable because a tremendous number of people believe that it is, and because you can exchange it for things with a whole bunch of people. And I've always kind of tried to define value as like it's the ability of the thing to be translated into something genuinely useful, or for survival, food, water, shelter. How quickly can I get from the thing I'm holding to something that I will use to keep me alive? Food, water, shelter. And for me, that's been like the really reductive way that I've looked at value. And so crypto, largely, and by largely I mean the overwhelming majority of them, are only ever valuable because someone else believes that they will become more valuable in the future. And so they're kind of this like ping pong of trading with someone who's hoping that at some point they will get to exchange it for more dollars or euros or pounds or whatever in the future. They are a mechanism by which you can speculate on the potential to get more of the dollar originally that you actually want. There are some exceptions, and they are starting to kind of grow more over time. Bitcoin would be the example of something that plenty of people now believe has value, and they have no desire to get rid of it to get dollars back. They are making a decision to opt out into what they think is a better form of money. That thing, Bitcoin at this point, there's plenty of people around the world that you could just give Bitcoin to get food, water, shelter. For example, me personally, if I owned a second house and somebody offered to rent it from me and they wanted to pay me in Bitcoin, I would be into that. But my neighbor maybe wouldn't be. So, that audience is more limited than the dollar. When you think about value, most of these things are Ponzi schemes. Most of these things are just, the greater fool theory is applicable to most things in crypto. There are exceptions. I would say Bitcoin is an exception. I would say that there are enough people to where you could say that Ethereum is an exception, that Solana is an exception. There are people who are not interested in selling that because they use it every day for whatever. These are smaller groups, but they grow. I don't know. And then, outside of that, if you were to talk about collectibles, specifically NFTs, yeah, generally, most of the NFT things were valuable to some people because they thought perhaps they will be worth more in the future. Is again a vehicle for speculation. I don't know if someone offered to rent my house and pay me in NFTs, I would not be into that, right? But if you offered to rent my house for a month for a CryptoPunk, then yeah, I would do that. And I probably wouldn't sell it because I would want the punk. So niche example. Evan, that was kind of rambly, but
no, it's really good. And I'd like to, can I respond to it to answer
please, yes.
a related question, which is like, how does that value accrual for an idea, whether the idea is Bitcoin or the idea is Pudgy Penguins, in terms of like actual dollars start? The only way to get Bitcoin is to buy it from somebody who has mined it, to mine it, or to buy it from somebody who has mined it or bought it. So you can think of tokens like Bitcoin, and Bitcoin specifically is a helpful example to start with, as like a bunch of friends who agree. They say, okay, what if we had Alex and I, we get friends all over the world, friends who work in crypto, friends who you rescue dogs, all of you watching. What if we said, you know, it really sucks that when we go out to dinner together or when we, I don't know, speculate on meme coins together, whatever, I've got dollars, he's got euros, she's got Canadian dollars. Like that's it, there's a lot of friction there and we can't all settle to a common currency. So what if instead we created this like new internet money? We called it Rise Up Points. And we created a piece of computer code to make it easy to distribute these computer points to people who did a thing, guessed a random number, okay? So everyone in the network is guessing these random numbers, we're getting these points, and then somebody somewhere is like, hey, I'd like to join your dinner group. I'd like some of those points that we're all using to settle in because it seems like it's a lot easier than having to wonder how we're gonna like settle up and pay. We've all got this like common record of account. And you spend your dollars to get some of our points. Great, now you're in the club. And then over time, more and more people are like, you know what? This club is actually really functional. I have friends all over the world I'd like to be able to exchange value with, and it's really clunky to have to use our different money or to pay Western Union to do it or to wait on them to send the transfer. Let me just join your network because you're all able to pay each other instantly in this common currency. And then someone else comes and they're like, oh my God, hey, I really, really wish I had access to a currency that was backed by like a group of people I didn't need to trust, but just facilitated by computers because my government is printing the hell out of my currency. I'm going to give you some of my currency. Give me some of your points. That is the story of Bitcoin. People have traded their other dollars, euros, etc. for Bitcoin tokens. And people have continued to use the Bitcoin network for the ability to send like uncensorable, fast, cheap payments to each other. And over time, it became what we call a store of wealth. Because remember, the only way to get Bitcoins is to be one of those random number guessers, which now requires a lot of computational power. And another thing about Bitcoin specifically is that over time, the amount of tokens released for guessing a random number correctly, they go down. And over time, the sort of Bitcoin in the tank, like to be distributed by the computers that run this program, it's got a hard cap. So it's like a tank of water that is emptying over time at a slower and slower rate. More and more people have cups, and more people who don't have cups want to drink. So that makes it more precious. And over time, whereas people might have traded $10 for a bunch, you know, when the tank was really full and there were only a couple people standing in line, you might have paid a couple cents to get 10 cups of water, you know? But now it's like a famine situation. Everybody wants it. And so every drop is worth more. That's where the money value of Bitcoin specifically comes from. Other cryptocurrencies are designed in different ways, but they're all experiments in what if we had other ways to make meaning about and communicate about value instead of just dollars and cents that a government printed that had to be physical or could only be issued digitally through banks. What if we could just change the rules of value, money, information that is digital to program it in new ways? Blockchains, cryptography, smart contracts, the pieces of computer code that make this stuff run, they are really new tools, native new tools for a new medium, like language was once new, like electricity was once new. And we will use them in novel ways to make meaning about value, identity, stories that we tell. That's one way it gets monetary value, but it will create other kinds of value too for the world, most of which have yet to be invented. I can't believe they thought that was a silly question.
Nope.
That's my favorite thing is when somebody said, you know, this is a dumb question, but it's never a dumb question.
I think just because oftentimes the way that it's talked about is disingenuous. They're like, well, this one's not valuable, but this one is super valuable, without any explanation as to like why. I mean, and I think too, the framing of the question is usually like not considering, you know, the nature of what is value or why is anything valuable. We just sort of like, we have a lot of things that we accept are valuable because of the pool of people who believe that it is big enough. And if something is small enough, then it's easy to write it off.
We have a couple of good follow-up questions here. Bearded asked about, is it true that 20 of the 21 million Bitcoin have been distributed, and that another question asked how many have been lost, and where would you go to verify that information?
You can look that up on any of those websites that CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, I mean, if you just Google current Bitcoin supply, I'm sure that the little like AI feature thing will tell you exactly how many are currently have already been mined. We like, because this thing is hard capped, because the rules are very clearly defined, we know that the final Satoshis will be mined around the year 2040 or 2140 rather. Just because of the nature of how the halving works, how it slows down, how rewards get cut in half every 4 years for doing the same amount of thing. But yeah, you could look that up. Any of those websites that tracks, DeFiLlama, CoinGlass, there's a gajillion. There's a bunch.
Speaking of DeFiLlama, did you know that in that
Yes.
White House report that was released yesterday?
Yes.
This is great. They cited information about crypto from places like DeFiLlama, like Uniswap, and DeFiLlama was the most cited source in that report, more than even Bloomberg. So shout out to our friends at DeFiLlama.
I am a big fan.
We think that's pretty cool. And if you've never used DeFiLlama before, they're not a sponsor of the show. They won't be, but if we could return a little value to them, we'd be glad to do it. DeFiLlama.com is a great tool for your crypto research toolkit. It'll show you how to earn yield, where to do it, metrics about this or that token on chain, this or that protocol. It's a great stop on your research journey. And though I don't think they could help you verify the Bitcoin supply, I don't know that they track Bitcoin specifically.
They do.
Tell you, oh, do they?
Yep.
That would be another place you could go. The thing about the Bitcoin information is you could Google it, you could look it up on DeFiLlama, you could look it up on a blockchain explorer, but the thing to do would be to, we say, triangulate. Get your information from more than one source so you could verify that it was unlikely to be untrue. How likely is it that DeFiLlama and Google and GPT and the blockchain explorer would all be wrong or lying to you? It's not. So I hope that helps. We have another question here. I have a friend who sent XRP with the wrong memo tag. Is he out of luck?
Memo
depends.
tag? No.
Well, it depends. Depends, man. If you send any token to a central exchange, a place like Coinbase, you not only need an address, but you need often a memo.
Really?
Yeah, this is because
I was today years old.
This is because not every token, but definitely XRP. The way that Coinbase makes stuff work.
That would be why I have no idea.
It's kind of. I had to learn it too, Alex. It's okay. We're new to the XRP. I have done more with XRP in the last 6 months than I have in the previous 3 years. At one point in time, I did.
I'm not new to it. I'm just completely disinterested.
Honestly, me too. But I have taken a more active interest.
I know you have
so many questions about it, and I really want to help those people out with good information. They're my people. And if you send it, it's like, have you ever sent mail, Alex, to an apartment complex or to a building with offices in it? Not only do you have to include an address, which responds to the building, but you also have to have an apartment number, a second line address, so that if you send mail to that building, the mail person knows which office in the building to deliver it to. This is like sending XRP to Coinbase. They have many different wallets they use to receive XRP. And on different exchanges, you may have to use memos at different times for other assets too, because they are like an apartment building. When you create an account with them, they don't necessarily create a wallet just for you. They may create a wallet that they use for many customers, and then in their ledger, they might assign amounts to you that they track personally. This is because it's cheaper to do things that way than it is to do every transaction on chain. And they got to make money, people. So your memo helps them find your tokens. You don't need a memo when you're sending to a wallet you own, because that's one address. It's like sending to a house where only one person lives. You're not going to mess it up. You don't need an apartment number. If your wallet requires a memo, you could just write Donald Duck or 1 or 0, anything. It won't matter. And the last thing I do want to say is, if you sent it, it's sometimes possible to reverse it depending on the exchange. The steps your friend would take if they sent XRP without a memo tag to an exchange. If they sent it to a wallet, doesn't matter. That's fine. It should show up unless they sent it on the wrong network. Then they're out of luck. But if you sent it to or from an exchange, they may have some agency to reverse the transaction, because it may just be an entry on their ledger like not the blockchain. Or they might have the means to like compensate you and make you whole. I have seen it happen. The steps I would take is go to that exchange's customer support, send them the transaction hash, tell them what happened, and then pray. Pray to Satoshi Nakamoto.
Well, I'm glad you were here because no clue.
No clue, baby. Hey, your XRP
Based on some of the
questions-
laughs in the chat, I'm not alone. So that makes me feel. Thank you for commiserating with me.
If you got XRP questions, then don't ask Alex, but you got to ask me.
I don't know how to sell this thing.
It's almost that time, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to ride our dogs and ponies off into the sunset for the weekend to set this circle community up like a beautiful dinner party you are invited to. But first, we want to hear your final thoughts, your last questions, your best or worst jokes and predictions and words of wisdom. Alex, you seen anything in the chat? Tori says, I pray to Tesla when I'm working on my computer in tech. I'll add in Satoshi to my altar for Web3. Blocking scammers in the chat, are you?
Yeah, just getting rid of a fake JV.
Bucko1210 has asked the same question 4 times and has gotten 4 answers, not only from us, but other people in the audience. And I'm not sure if they're impudent or if they're just maybe they are not
What's the
visual,
question?
can't read. The question is, so I'm taking sympathy on them. Bless you for being here. Is Hedera, XLM, Sui, Ondo, Aerodrome, Cardano a wait for a pump and then sell or a long-term hold? Thank you.
Yeah, I
The
did answer
question
that.
is, here's my portfolio. What are your thoughts? Thoughts on tokens? Manage my portfolio for me.
Whatever makes your heart happy.
I
We
said
don't know.
for me, those are pump and sells.
I would tell you
But-
that if
I'm not
I
qualified to
held-
answer for you.
no, I have no idea what your situation is. I don't know how much you have invested. I don't know if you're over invested. My answer would change depending on the answers to all of those different questions and 30 more that I didn't ask. But personally, the only thing I could tell you is that if I owned any single one of those in any amount and they pumped an arbitrary amount of pump, I would take profits.
That's exactly right. It's exactly how I feel. I hold Ondo. I hold
Me too.
Aerodrome. I think I hold
Me too.
some of that. But I am not tied to any of those. The only investment that I'm never probably going to sell is my Bitcoin. That's it. Never selling it. I'm taking out loans on that bad boy all the way home until they close the lid on me, and then I'll pass it on to my kids.
I will make my final thought. The answer to this question for Lee, is it too late to get XRP? And I'll pull XRP out of that question and just put in, is it too late to get literally anything? You can apply this answer to any of them. It depends. The shitty answer is it depends. It depends because, again, we don't know what you want out of it, what your plan for it is, if you would be getting it right now for the first time ever. If you, like, for in XRP's case, are you buying it now because you are trying to get on board the train before it goes to $10,000 or whatever? All of those things will contribute to how that answer gets shaped, and nobody can really answer that question except for you. And anyone who says that they can answer it for you is doing you a disservice and probably just trying to get your attention and keep you there, because the model for many crypto content creators is make you dependent on me for information so that you feel like you cannot leave.
Gwump.
So with XRP and specifically, I mean, what's it at right now? Like 310, 315, something like that?
Yeah, it's been coming down from a
Okay. So
60-ish, 70-ish.
So how I would go about starting to build an answer to a question like that about anything, but I'll use XRP as the example. Why am I interested in it? I would want to list out the reasons about why I'm interested. And I would be very careful if any of those, or if the only ones, or if the strongest reasons are because so-and-so on the internet is convincing me that it's the case. And you can't really articulate why they believe it, other than the fact that, like, they seem to be getting attention from believing it, or they haven't really given a reason, but, like, that's the thing shaping it. Influencers are into it. Okay. That can be a piece of it, but I would want more. Okay, so why? Like, why would it be? Why would anyone new want to buy it? And if the only answer you can come up with to that question is because it might be worth more in the future, then we are talking about a Ponzi scheme. That's not to say that you can't make money trading Ponzi schemes. Many people do.
That's right.
All the time, every day.
Correct.
It's crypto, baby. But I would not want that to be the only thing, because then I'm kind of like, you're dancing on the edge of a knife. And it's like, oh, well, I don't want to accidentally be the guy who's like still got it at the end. You know what I mean? So I would be asking the questions to myself, like, okay, can I identify any problems that this thing solves? If so, what do I think the total addressable market for a product like this, a solution like this is? Do I see people actively asking for this? What is their competition? Are more people using the competition than not? Does the competition exist? All of these things. In crypto, the other thing is like, do I believe that at any point in the future, the price will be higher than it is now? And with all of these big ones, XRP included, the answer is, yeah, it could totally be. In that case, then you just need to ask yourself, okay, what am I trying to do? Am I trying to like make a quick flip on a trade? Am I actually going to be in a position where I could take profit on something? How much money would that actually be? Am I being seduced by this whole get rich quick idea that is making me want to overinvest in something? Like, all of these things need to be considered. And then of course, budget, time frame, risk profile, like all this, anything that you would consider before making an investment anywhere else. Understanding that investing, and I use the term loosely, in crypto is very different than investing in something like the S&P 500, just the go-to example that's probably more relatable. Many times we don't have good revenue to prop up our potential valuations. Many times we don't have a lot of proof of concept. Many times we are only at the idea stage and we're kind of in the venture phase. That's most of the case. So is it too early? It depends on what you expect out of the thing. If it's at 312 and you want to buy it because you want to sell it at $4, there's a pretty good chance that you'll get that opportunity. When? Who knows? It could literally be tomorrow. It could literally be in 10 years. And anything in between.
Alex, just to touch on what you said about speculation and price and market cap, guess what the market cap of XRP is right now?
Too high.
$200 billion. And Alex's answer is
Fucking
justified
ridiculous.
by this. Guess whose market cap is also just over $200 billion? McDonald's.
There you go.
Coca-Cola.
Yikes.
Does XRP do what those companies do?
No.
No. In the bear market,
That's the strength of speculation right there.
That's absolutely the strength of speculation. And I just want to show one quick visual to back this up, to put a pin in my addition to your argument here. This is the XRP chart all time. And this is measured in market cap, but price looks largely the same. Okay. Where the narrative around XRP has mostly been the same. A lot of folks who are asking this question have just gotten in maybe last year when it did this. They're hearing about it for the first time in the last 8 months, 12 months. But when it was up here, people were talking about how every bank was going to use it. Cross-border payments were going to be done with it. They were talking about how one day it would replace SWIFT. When it was up here, people were talking about how every bank was going to use it. Cross-border payments would be used for it. SWIFT was going to be replaced by it, so on and so forth. They were talking about the lawsuit. They were talking about all this. Down here, it was about a $10 billion company. You could pick up XRP for 30 cents, 50 cents, 80 cents. And all this time, they've been in a tough lawsuit, but they've been building some things, or trying to. Mostly partnerships where people are exploring blockchain using their ledger. And now, here at this point, Ethereum's got the most developed smart contracts in the world, the most real-world assets tokenized on its platform, more all the time. Tether is the most widely used stablecoin, the most widely used cryptocurrency on the entire planet. It settles to more tokens than any other and is used to facilitate billions of dollars in remittances and cross-border payments every day, not to mention USDC that's not very far behind it. The promises have yet to pan out, which doesn't mean they can't, but the narrative really hasn't changed. And folks who expected it to go to 10,000 often held it. Folks who expected it to go to 10,000 often held it. Folks who expected to go to 10,000 will probably continue to hold it. And probably the cycle will change. Maybe there will be a higher floor. Maybe people will adopt it. But it's just important to be in touch with, what is likely when you are speculating on a venture style investment where there really isn't a product yet.
Yeah. Even with their, I've seen some some estimates at revenue being like $400 to $500 million annually. And so just for comparison, we said McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's
similar valuation.
is a $220 billion company. They have a slightly higher valuation. At one point in this run, Ripple had a higher valuation. XRP had a higher valuation.
McDonald's does $26 billion of annual revenue, and they have the same valuation. So
Wow.
they do 50 times as much revenue, and they have the same valuation.
Yeah, it's tough. Not
So-
TUFF. That's
Yeah.
TOUGH.
Yeah, tough.
It's tough.
Really quickly, just because we do need to
There
go.
you gotta go. Yeah,
There's-
yeah.
There was a question about selling with regards to getting a mortgage.
Yeah.
If you
a good
need
question.
the rule of thumb, in my opinion, and again, I'm not an expert, I'm not a financial advisor, but to me, this kind of speaks to being like either over invested or not necessarily being able to afford the size of the specific portfolio. If there's like something you need to do with it and the money's stuck or tied up there, then yeah, I personally would sell. I have been in that position before where I put too much in, realized I didn't have enough not invested to do the things I needed to do to survive and live, and I had to sell some. So that's a very real scenario. Mortgages specifically, depending on, of course, the nature. Of course, it depends again, because I don't know why you're moving. I don't know if you need to buy a house that's that big. I don't know if you're underbuying, overbuying, where you're buying, whatever. Don't know. Don't need to know. That's your business. But all of that informs the decision.
Yeah, and
So-
my final thing to add on that is all this to say, if you needed to sell, like it's never a bad time to sell if you're up in profit. I showed you this chart. If you are an XRP believer, if you don't think it's going anywhere, but really the best move would have been to buy it, sell it, buy it when it was low again, sell it when it was high,
Yep.
buy it when it was low again, sell it when it was high.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
a lot more realistic for it to have a valuation like this, but you know it's got a history of going to the moon.
And it
and
could go higher.
It
There's
could go
always the
higher.
chance.
Of course. So why not pay yourself for the time you've spent holding it, for the money you've invested, so that if it goes to the moon, you still got some upside potential. And if it goes back down again, well, then you got money left over to buy that dip with.
Plus, in the
the
game
rich-
of probability, is it more likely that you will get a chance to buy it lower than it is at its peak right now, whatever that is, then it will go to a ridiculously high number? Yeah. Nothing is guaranteed, but the odds can be higher in one direction or another.
Beautiful.
So that's just the way I think about it. There is only Bitcoin would be the one, just because my belief and my conviction is different. And again, just me personally, I know plenty of people who trade Bitcoin and go off. There's no wrong way to do it.
Yep.
But anything else, if anything else, and I have for example, Solana, I have a lot of faith in Solana just because of how much revenue they make and how many users they have and how many products they are living on that ecosystem. That's what informs a conviction, usage and revenue. But even still, if it pumped arbitrarily tomorrow, I would sell a bunch of it. Absolutely. You bet your ass. So as with all of them, I've seen, Algorand, I saw another couple mentioned in the chat there. All of this applies to all of those. If you've made a play and it works out really well and you have the opportunity to cash in and realize some significant profit, in any of those, pay yourself. You deserve to pay yourself. And don't let the fear of capital gains tax scare you away from doing that. A lot of fear mongering about like, oh, well, don't do that because then you're going to lose all of it in taxes and the capital gains rate is ridiculously high. Sometimes, yeah, but it depends on your income. And the IRS website is free to access. So you can go look up exactly what tax bracket you'd be in and see exactly how much you would owe in taxes. And I always say I would rather pay taxes on a win than write off a loss. So if there are questions that you want to have answered that you did not get a chance to get answered, there was a bunch today, which is awesome.
We love it.
Drop them in the Discord, and soon you'll be able to drop them in Circle, and or leave a comment on a video. Get to those too. But we do need to.
We do need to go. Alex has been apparently chatting me since 16 minutes ago and saying, hey, I got to go at 1:30. And I rugged him.
Yes,
Rugged him like a scammer.
sure did.
Amso said, pay yourself for the play. And that's my final thought. The final prediction is buy. B-U-Y, buy. That's what the 8-ball said. What a degenerate 8-ball. If you've got something else, Alex told you, come find us. The riseupmorningshow.com has got all the links you need, and we can't wait to see you right back here Monday, 7 a.m. Central, same time, same place. Until then, everybody, have a great weekend, a great now. Stay safe, be well. Everybody, rise up.